Hi, my name is Maria Limon, and I work with the Center on Domestic Violence. I am the Rural Technical Assistance Manager supporting domestic and sexual violence programs that are tackling all kinds of horrible challenges in their communities. And they have figured out the best way to do that is by developing a community-wide team to change the culture within society to one that where no one would even dream of hurting or abusing somebody they care about. I am quarantining with friends out here in the southwestern part of Colorado, up along the shores of Vallecito Lake, the land of the Southern Utes, as a matter of fact. And I am continuing to do that work, supporting programs around the country that are faced with having to approach their work in a very different way. The programs that I've been in touch with in these rural communities are having a hard time doing their advocacy work on behalf of anyone who's dealing with violence. Many of the interactions that they report that they count on in their work is to be able to have that face-to-face interaction. And that's impossible at the moment. The programs that I've been in touch with in these rural communities are having a hard time doing their advocacy work on behalf of anyone who's dealing with violence. Many of the interactions that they report that they count on in their work is to be able to have that face-to-face interaction. And that's impossible at the moment. But they are also having to deal with the grief of not being able to see the people they're working on behalf of, not being able to hold a hand, not being able to be someone who they could physically lean on as they talk about some of the horrible effects of the violence that they have been forced to manage. In public health, one of the foundations of the work that I do is this understanding that connection is the strongest protective factor. Isolation is considered a risk factor. And so the protective factor would be connection. The more connected a person is, the less likely they are to experience violence. When we think about what it takes to end violence, we know that it is not the work solely of a domestic violence shelter program or a sexual assault program or the police. Peace does not rest on the shoulders of a single institution or agency. It actually rests on all of us. So as I think about how a community can be trained or can be taught to think about breaking the isolation that anybody who is dealing with violence has to manage. And I appreciate knowing that my team members understand the role, for example, that other forms of oppression play in the ending of domestic violence. Just recently, given the exacerbation of police violence against people, Black people in particular, it's been a lovely experience to be able to dialogue with my team about what it means for us as a center to end violence when we know that that means that we also have to end racism and white supremacy.